with a women's group, and I see all women here. So I want to start off by sharing a testimony of mine. Um, 10 years ago, I've been in the ministry now. November 17th will be 13 years. That what I mean by being in the ministry, I've been pressing and I haven't looked back. 13 years straight. Before then, I was in the world and I didn't do church in the world. My mother grew me up in the church, probably like most of us. Parents, take you where you want to go. But when I got like 16, I left the East Coast and I went to Los Angeles. And I stayed in Los Angeles for many, many years after that. So I never was doing church or nothing. I came in real late in my 40s and I had children real late, so all my 20s and 30s, I just took them for myself, But I never knew that God had this plan for my life these past 13 years. So when I was in Georgia, and that's when I kind of got kind of sick and tired of being sick and tired, if you know what I mean. So I was sick and tired of being sick and tired, and I said, okay, Lord, I'm going to, change my mind, So I went to church, took my wife, my kid, and then she was pregnant with a little girl, my 11-year-old now, she was pregnant with her. And so we went to church and everything, went like 3 times, 3 different Sundays, so we're talking about 3 weeks. Now, since I'm giving my life to Christ, since I'm changing my mind, and I'm trying to stay on this straight, narrow road, not attacks come. All the attacks, they come heavy at me. So the first attack was, I had a swelling up under my jaw, but before I left Detroit, before we come to Georgia, because we weren't even there a month, I had a tooth pulled back here. So thought the swelling was from the tooth, but the swelling was getting bigger, So my ex-wife's mother-in-law, my ex-wife, great auntie, said, you need to go get that checked out because if some poison dropping in, you could die. You tell me something about dying and I'm on it, right away. So I go, to the hospital and everything, and so they diagnosed me with cancer, just to speed the story up. They wanted to do a biopsy, since I let them do a biopsy. Then a couple of days later, he had me come in, and the doc said, have a seat. I said, all right, doc, I don't need to have a seat. What's going on? He said, well, you have cancer. And then, my body just broke down. Then I was looking for that seat, So I'm like, cancer, because mind you, I'm an ex-professional fighter. So I boxed all my life. I've always been athletic, so I was smoking, and things like that. I did a little weed, did a little drinking, but the weed had me paranoid, and plus it had me silly. A person could tell me my mom just died, I might start laughing if I'm smoking weed. So it wasn't for me. So it wasn't nothing for me to cross over those barriers. When it's something that you really don't enjoy doing, it's kind of more easier than, But I understand when you get a hold of something that is feeling good to you, it's kind of hard to let go also, you know what I'm saying? So I understand the two folds and all. So I said, Doc, cancer, because you think of cancer, you think you're about to die and all this here. So anyway, we started chemotherapy like right away, the same week, in a couple of days, because I was in the stage 6 of cancer. And I had a Hodgkin's disease, lymphoma. So they don't know where it comes from. They said something in the air. So I had lymph nodes all over, you know what I'm saying? It was swelling up and it was, getting real escalated. So anyway, so on my way back, because I went in the hospital by myself. I left my wife and my daughter, with a great auntie where we was at. So on my way back, I questioned God. I said, now here I am, my 3rd week, I'm diligent, I'm giving myself, through the streets, because I always try to be a man of my word, even when I was in the world, I never was one to say one thing and do the other thing. I don't like that. So I said, God, I'm giving my life to you, and I got cancer. But in that same voice, I promise y'all, I said, maybe you got something better for me to do up there. Because I'm thinking I'm about to exit. I don't know nothing about cancer. I'm not educated on it or nothing at that time. So I'm thinking I'm about to exit. So, but I had the audacity to say, maybe you got something better than me to do up there, knowing I had lived most of my whole life in the street. But this is what came out of me. This wasn't no script, nothing I wrote down. I didn't even know I had cancer. So when I said that, I truly believe that God was pleased with that, because I didn't beg for my life. I ain't said, Lord, my wife pregnant, you know, the baby coming, you know, and wasn't no fear. I didn't have no fear, you know what I'm saying? And when I really got into the Word, now speeding up, as I got into the Word, when I see that He hasn't given us the spirit of fear, but love, power, and a sound mind, I seen that I was actually lining up with the Word and not even knowing that I was lining up in the Word. So that's how I got the results that I got. I took chemotherapy for close to a year, and then went to the doctor and they didn't find nothing. And then I had to go back again because the doctor didn't understand that it was gone. And went back again, they didn't find nothing. So you know you're supposed to do these checkups every 6 months or something. I didn't do nothing because I stayed on the faith. Who the Son set free is free indeed. So I stayed on the faith. So here I am 11 years later, cancer free, you know, from cancer. Okay, now, the thing though was this here. I truly believe God was pleased with my faith of believing I was going with Him. Something in me told me I was going with Him. See, the enemy comes to bring condemnation. He's the accuser of the brother. So all the enemy wants to do is remind you of your situation and your circumstance. And I didn't allow that to happen with me. I stood on this here. See, all the healing, everything is in the Word. But see, this Word has to really get in you. It ain't about like reading it like you read a novel. No, it's like reading it and believing it and receiving it and not believing nothing else. Now, sure, the doctor report says this, and it's on the screen, and it says you got this here. But see, the Bible says by His stripes you heal. See, so now you got a choice with that will He gave you. You can believe the doctor report, because the doctor report is a fact. But this report is the truth. And the truth overrides the fact, but the fact don't override the truth. Only you can give it power to override the truth. So if you choose to believe what the doctors say, what NA say, what Alcohol Anonymous say, if you choose to believe their report, then you're going to have what you say and you're going to have what you believe. That's how just and fair God is. You're going to have whatever you believe and what you say. Just like missing the mark and going to the kingdom of darkness or either going to the kingdom of light. That's going to be our choice. God ain't putting nobody in hell and He ain't putting nobody in heaven. You have the will to put yourself in either one of those places. That's how loving and a kind of gentleman God He is. He's so loving and kind that people just don't get it. Because they want to get deep. You know, they want to get all deep into it. It's not deep. It's a decision. And this is what the enemy don't want us to know, that it's you changing your mind and making a decision that I'm going to believe the Word only. See, because believing this and also believing your circumstance and situation, that's not going to work for God right there. Because the only way that we can please Him, He tells us, is by faith. We got to believe it because He said. We got to see it because He said. You know, we just got to operate that way. Because if you think you're going to get God's attention by sight, well, He got to do this for you to do this. That's how it was in the Old Testament. You did this, God did this. You know. Okay, now the bar has been changed. That's why He wants to rightfully divide this word of truth. We're under a new dispensation. We're under grace now. Now, grace says you better enter into that rest. You know, and you don't deserve nothing that's happening with you. Because what you do deserve, Jesus took it on the cross. So there is no condemnation in anyone that has Christ Jesus in. I don't care if you're getting high, if you're doing this and doing that. Man, that enemy cannot bring a charge to you because your intercessor. Now, this is for those who have Christ. This is the jewels for the believers. This is not for the unbelievers. Now, if you ain't received Jesus, this is not for you. And you can receive Jesus today. We can do that before I leave here if you haven't received. But if you receive Jesus Christ in your heart in your mind and in your soul. Your actions and what you're doing does not deplete that. That is not going to take away from you receiving Jesus. This is why he's the advocate. It's just like when you go to the courts in the natural. You got the prosecutor and you got the lawyer. The prosecutor has a charge with you on there. He got evidence that you broke into the house, and so it's a burglary charge. It carries 5 to 25. The lawyer's job is to try to convince the courts that you didn't do it or you didn't mean to do it, but at the time you was under influence or whatever he can do because there's too much evidence here. Now, the difference in the spirit realm is whenever Satan take to the court on us, Jesus died for it. And he's our advocate. That's why he tells the believer, he's talking to the believer, he's talking to the church, if you sin, know that you have an advocate that sit at the right hand of the Father. So when the accuser of the brother and Satan says, she did this here, she's getting high, she's sleeping with her husband, she did this here, she killed this person. Jesus said, I died for murder, I died for adultery, I died for fornication, I died for stealing. Not guilty. See, in the eyes of God, we're not guilty. But in the eyes of ourselves, because of the law, the enemy will show you that you're guilty. So when you find out and get the revelation of how good God is, and how it's a win-win situation, and how much he loves you, there is no